Hello everyone, you're welcome back to this channel. In today's video I'll be sharing with you how I actually make this shape dress with drawstring. It's very easy. Okay, so if this is what you're interested in, take your time and watch this video to the end. Thank you. So let's get started. I have my fabric here. This is an African fabric, okay, and locally we call it Kampala. Okay, so it's been folded into 4 pieces, as you can see right here. So the first thing I will be doing is to measure what I have after being folded into 4 pieces. I have about 17 inches right here. Okay, now I go ahead to mark the length. So I'm using the length of 14 inches plus 2 inch for the hem allowance. Okay, so it depends on who you are making yours for, understand? So right now, after that, the next thing I'm going to do right now is to go ahead and for the real measurement. So I'll start by measuring half of my shoulder line, and then I have the full shoulder line to be 15 inches. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here is just to place it very well so that I make sure that this fabric aligns together. So I will go ahead, like I said, half of 15 will give me 7.5 inch. Okay, and so 7.5 times 2 gives me 15, and that is what is being displayed here. So the rest is going to be the length of my sleeve. Okay, now I go ahead and mark the width of my neckline, which is 3 inches. I'm using 3 inches. You could use 3.5 inch. Now I go ahead right now and mark the depth of the back neckline. I'm using 1 inch for the depth of the back line neckline. So I go ahead right now, I connect to the neck width. So after this, the next thing I'm going to do is to proceed to the front, the neckline, the depth of the front neckline. I'm using 6.5 inch. You could use 7 inch, you could use 6 inch, depending on your choice. Okay, so right now I'm connecting right to that point. So after this, I am going to make a slope, the shoulder slope. I'm using 2 inch. You could use 2.5 inch. Okay, so but in this case I'm using 2 inch. After marking it, so I go ahead to connect straight to the neck width, neckline width, and that is what I'm doing right here. So having done with that, the next thing is to measure the round sleeve mount. Okay, the round sleeve. So I'm using like 9 inch here. Okay, so I've marked it at that point. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to come in by 1.5 inch right here. So after that, I'm going to mark from the shoulder line. I'm marking the length of my hip line. So I'm using 24 inches for from the shoulder to the hip line. I'm using 24 inches. Okay, so I mark it right there. After that, I'm going to place it right on that point and measure the horizontal, the circumference of the hip, that is 1/4 of the hip circumference. So after that, I'm going to add about 3 or 4 inches. Okay, so you either add 3 inches or 4 inches. So I'm using the total of about 4 inches. So from that point, I'm going to connect straight to that sleeve point. So From the hip line, I will also go and connect down to the down part, to the hemline. So exactly, which means that whatever I have on the hip line, I will transfer directly to the hemline, and that is what I'm doing right here. So at the end, you will discover that it's going to give me a straight line. So invariably, the hip determines all other parts like the hemline and the butt line. So you can see the lines being straight. So I'm going to connect in this corner. I'm going to mark like 1 inch just to create a curve around this sleeve, or what I call like hammock. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do right now is to go ahead tracing the line and cut it off. Oh, I'm very sorry. I discovered that when I was trying to cut it off, my camera got lost. It was not picking up what I intended cutting. But all you need to do is just to trace the line, that like I've earlier said, trace the line and cut it off. You start by cutting off the back piece first. After that, you remove the back piece from it and cut the front measurement. Okay, so right now we are going to proceed. All I need to do right now, I'm placing the back piece on the front piece, and I will go ahead and sew the shoulder line. So I'm going to place it very well, then I sew like this. Okay, and I will also do likewise to the second part right here, like that. So now I'm done. Can you see? I've gone to sew it together. Can you see the two shoulder line? So the next thing I'm going to do right now is simply to sew the seam line on both sides. Now I'm done with that. So the next thing I'm going to do is to make a notch around this corner. Okay, so this also will be done on both sides. I make a notch around this side so that by the time I turn inside out, it will have a flat look. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to go to the hemline. I'm going to stitch the hemline. That is the next stage. So you remember I left 2 inches for the hemline. So I'm going to use the whole of the 2 inches to fold it and hem it down part. Can you see? I'm done with this. Can you see how it looks? So having done that, the next thing I'm going to do is to go to the collar line. So I'm going to fold it into 2 equal parts, as you can see me rightly doing on the screen. So I'm going to fold it into 2 equal parts, making sure that it aligns together. Then after this, I'm going to measure what I have. So whatever I have here, I'm going to multiply it by 2, because you can see the way I'm folding it. So it's going to be times 2 of whatever I have here. For instance, if I measure from this shoulder point or from this neckline point downwards, if it gives me 60, so it's going to be 60 times 2. That will be the length of my collar I'm going to cut off, plus like 1 inch extra. Okay, so that is what I'm doing right here. So I think this gave me about 80 or so. So right now this is the collar fabric. Now the width of this collar is 4 inch. Okay, so I use 0.5 to fold it on both sides, as you can see right here. So by the time I remove that 1 inch from it, I will have the total of 3 inches for the width. Okay, so the next thing is to go ahead and attach this collar to the main the body of this dress, starting from the down part, as you can see me rightly doing. So I'm going to sew like this down to the other side of the hemline. Please, if you are catching up with this tutorial, kindly give it a thumbs up. Okay, thank you very much. So we are proceeding. Now I'm done with the first face of the collar. Now I'm going to fold it at the down part so that it will align with what I sew at the down part. Okay, so after this, the next thing is to close it up. Can you see? I'm going to close it up, I'm going to top stitch this time around from one hemming the hem, the down part, to the other side. So this is what I have. Can you see? So the next thing I'm going to measure from this point, I'm going to measure like 10 inch. So I measure like 10 inch right here. So from this point, I'm going to stitch inward. So that's why I'm turning to the wrong side. You turn it to the wrong side. Like this, then I stitch with less than 0.5 inch. Okay, now I'm done with this. Can you see how it looks? So I have left an opening, okay, so that it will be very, very easy to work about. So the next thing I'm left with is to go to the sleeve, the round sleeve. So I have my fabric here. I use about 2.5 inch and I folded two sides with 0.5. You could use 3 inches. Okay, depends on how wide you want this to be. So I'm going to sew it round. So here is it. Can you see? Can you see how neat it is? So after this, the next thing right now is to work on the drawstring. So the first thing I'm going to do right here is to go to the shoulder line. I'm going to measure from the shoulder, I measure the waistline. So I'm marking 17 inches. Okay, for an adult you could mark between 17 to 19 inches. Okay, so I'm actually making this for a teenager. Okay, so right now I will measure from that point. I'm going to make an horizontal line on both sides from one edge to the other. So I will also turn the fabric to the back side. I will also trace that line to the back side. So for easy purpose, I will also mark from that shoulder line 17 inches also on both sides, like I'm doing right now. So I'm going to make an horizontal line across that point on both sides. So this is the fabric I will be using. I have about less than 1 inch or 1 inch. So I folded it in. So I will have the width of this to be like less than 1 inch. So I'm going to place it rightly on that line. Then I sew round carefully. You could also do this before I close the center, the inbuilt collar. You could do it otherwise, just for easy purpose. Okay, if this is not convenient for you, before you close up the inbuilt collar, you will have done this. Okay, so you can do it either way. So right now, as I'm done stitching my fabric where I'm going to pass my string. So right now I've inserted the string carefully using my safety pin. So right now I can now draw, as you can see rightly on the string. So you can see it's very easy and it's quite a simple style and beautiful. So this is it. If you like this video, please kindly subscribe if you have not subscribed to my channel for new updates, and please you can share this video out. Thanks for your support, my subscriber out there. Thanks for always being there. Thank you very much. Thanks for taking your time to watch this video. So till I come your way again, feel free to drop your comments and suggestions. I will be waiting. Thank you very much. Till I come your way again. Bye for now.